Larry here with 7 Sage Law School Prep and another stick figure exam tip. This one is in the realm of Master Your Professor, and it's about how to take your last practice exams. If you recall, one of our bits of advice is to save 3, if your professor has more than 3, real practice exams, true old exams actually written by your professor, and to save those 3 exams for the end, just the week or 2 before exams, and to do most of your mastering issue spotting with other exams. But is there anything different that you want to do with these exams that you didn't do before? One is that you want to do a dress rehearsal with these exams. As I said before, you need to practice like it's real, but it's these exams in particular that you need to be very disciplined about simulating all the conditions that will exist on your exam. If you can sit with an outline in your casebook, then sit with your outline in a casebook. If there's total closed book exam, take these exams closed book. If you have 3 hours, take just 3 hours and no more. We've been over this before, but I want to say just be super disciplined about this. One quick side note is that it's interesting to watch the presidential candidates. Of course, you're not running for president, but this is just as important to you. And the presidential candidates will actually do everything to simulate every single condition. They'll actually practice in an auditorium that's rebuilt to look like the place they will actually have the debate in. They'll wear the same clothes, the same tie. They'll get someone who looks and acts like their opponent. And that's the approach you want to take with these last couple of exams. This is where you really want to make it real. What you do after you take the exam is important, maybe even more important. You actually want to get together with a study group and make sure that you've taken the same exam. And then you want to review answers together. You want to check every other person's exams and use this as a mirror to see what they saw that you didn't see. What were your blind spots on the exam? And I guess you can also take care to note those things that you can ignore that your friends did that you didn't. This is a really careful and deliberate self-assessment, and it's not always fun. Now, theoretically, you could do this on your own, but it's hard to really see yourself without a mirror. And I think a study group, their other answers to the same exam serve as the best possible mirror for 2 reasons. One, in a way that even a tutor can't, a study group helps you master the professor. They're the ones who've been sitting all semester listening to the same professor talk to you. An outside instructor, however otherwise helpful, can't do that for you. Even when I would review practice exams written by my students, I would always beg them to get study groups. Not all of them did. Some of them did, still got straight A's. But I really think, all things being equal, you want to do this. There's a reason for that. There's a paradox that you don't know what you don't know. If you're in charge of looking for your own blind spots and you think to yourself, well, here's my bit of knowledge, when you go back and review, perhaps you'll be like this. Maybe you'll see some stupid mistakes that you didn't mean and your area of knowledge expands like this. But let's say there's a Venn diagram and these are your friends' exams. There's this whole shaded area here that you may not know. Now, it could be bigger or smaller, but the point is, a different person looks at the exam in a different way. They take the same information, maybe hear different things that you didn't hear, or just see the world in a slightly different way, and you can really profit from that. Whatever you do, the self-assessment is super important. It's how Arnold Schwarzenegger got to be big. Don't ask me why, but his book used to lay about my parents' house. My dad, who was 5'11" and 130 pounds his whole life, kind of wanted to gain some weight, so he got Arnold, The Education of a Bodybuilder. And one of the things that's interesting is that Arnold already got big, and of course, he's a narcissist, but he would spend tons of time in the mirror, and he would think to himself, what looks good on me? How's my calves? I need to work on my calves. Those are awful. They're just too small compared to the rest of my huge V-shaped body. Or I need to work on my lats a bit, or my delts. They could just be so much more than they are. Whatever you might think of Arnold, however blind he may have been in other contexts, you want to be just as brutal in your self-assessment of yourself, in measuring your own exam performance, and using other people to help you do that I think is the best way to check for your blind spots. Now that seems to have veered from the actual topics, how to take your last practice exams, but not really. It's those exams that you need to take with a study group, and it's those exams that'll let you do this very careful self-examination of how you're doing with that professor's materials.